Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is KOJOFOREX, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the recent Bitcoin surge in prices, and I'm going to give you an update about current prices rallying all the way to smash to RTP, which is the 20,000 mark, and then where it is currently standing. And then I'm going to also show you, regardless, what is to expect of Bitcoin in this video. Also, we're going to be looking into this particular chart and then understanding what could be the next possible move of Bitcoin. Are we going to have a crash? Are we going to also have a massive pullback like we did when it hit those recent highs all the way back in 2017? What is new for Bitcoin? So I'm going to take you guys, walk you through everything we need to understand about what is yet to be expected about Bitcoin, and how you should protect yourself as an investor in the coming days or in the coming year, which is 2021, to be safe and then position yourself in the right directional movement of this market. Now, of course, this is a very special week in the market, not only because Bitcoin hit my target, but because Bitcoin has actually smashed through that 20K mark, which was something that was very difficult for it to do for a very long time, all the way from 2017, when most investors were expecting Bitcoin to smash to 2020 to that 20,000 mark. It didn't actually do that. We trickled all the way down from 20,000 or 19,000 thereabout all the way to 4,000, and then surged again upwards. And then, all things being equal, in the year 2020, which I called out very early on in the year, Bitcoin has actually smashed that 20,000 mark and then currently heading around the 24,000. So we're going to look into the chart, right, looking at how Bitcoin has come so far, and then what is the next outlook for Bitcoin as well. What investors and then Bitcoin traders, especially those around the community who are massively involved in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency community, can be able to protect themselves and then put themselves in the right directional movement of this market. So the fact that we have smashed that 20,000 mark and then currently heading towards 24,000, which was another key level that I called out, especially for those of you that follow my updates on Instagram, could potentially tell us where we are going next with Bitcoin. Nonetheless, I wasn't really surprised as we smashed through that level. Like I said, Bitcoin has its own characteristics, right? So with respect to market psychology and market timing, if you've been in this market for a long time, you realize that the market has a way of playing and then making everything look so perfect, right? Which I call what market always painting that perfect picture. So timing is very relevant when it comes to market analysis. So with respect to how Bitcoin used to surge, with respect to market formation that you can see on my chart, right, looking at that wedge formation, I could potentially tell that when Bitcoin had formed this kind of pattern, the resultant implication of this kind of pattern, which is the rising wedge formation, resulting in an upside surge, could start off when we get into that latter part of the year, which is the third quarter of 2020. So that was part of the main reason that influenced my call to watch into Bitcoin rallying to that 2020 mark. So in my initial analysis, I called Bitcoin very early on, as in all the way in January 2020, calling it to 20,000, right, making some analysis, as you can see from my trading view ideas, right. But along the line, market didn't play out perfectionist as the way I was expecting, but indeed I was still following the market to see if the market had changed its bias with respect to how I was looking at Bitcoin. Nonetheless, I saw that there was a change in the flow. I saw that there was a change, right, with respect to market formation and then candlestick confirmations. It was just in 1 month that pulled back against me with respect to the earlier confirmation that I did, but subsequently we had another rally on the upside with a different monthly candle closing on the upside, giving me that strong confirmation, that candle confirmation, which is usually what I call in the lower time frame, or even on any time of confirmation or any type of confirmation, the tweezers, right. I had a very strong monthly tweezers closing at the very apex of that channel, that falling wedge channel, that gave me the strong conviction that Bitcoin was going to break off right when it started trading out of the channel and head straight towards that 20,000 mark. That was why I was able to also update my analysis and my call all the way in the May thereabout, and then we can clearly see that all the way before the year ended, which was 2020, Bitcoin actually fulfilled that mark of hitting that 20K and then smashing through it, even running towards the 24,000. So now we want to understand what is the next outlook for Bitcoin. What can traders expect of Bitcoin going next in the market? So you guys are most aware that I am a trader that particularly focuses on the psychological levels in the market, and then some places that are level or like to market as institutional level. Why do I call these places institutional levels in the market? They are key psychological areas in the market that I know from experience that big players in the market, the hedge funds, the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgan, Barclays banks, and all those huge institutions that trade the forex market like to play around these key areas and then reverse or try to accumulate or distribute in the market around those key areas. So when you want the Bitcoin chart all the way from 2017, when it rallied all the way down from that 19,000 area, we can clearly see that it started playing around that 4,000 area before what rallied all the way back up into the 12,000 region and then pulling back to tap into the 4,000 for the last time, acting as a source of liquidity before rallying straight up into smashing straight off without any pullback into 12,000, pulled back a little bit after hitting 12,000, and then rallied all the way to 24,000 without taking any breath. So this is the kind of thing that happens when a market accumulates so much and then there's so much momentum behind these kind of orders. Without any relaxation, the market continues to smash through these levels all the time in the market. So now we're 24,000. We're going to ask ourselves, what is to expect of this market? We're watching currently on the weekly time frame, right? So a lot of time I see a lot of people trying to short the market anytime a key level is hit, maybe 24,000, they start trying to sell into the market. But what do myself and then other people that I teach do? We wait for confirmation. What kind of confirmations are we waiting for? We're waiting to see bearish presence in the market. You cannot just easily jump into a market when you've not really seen any bearish presence giving you strong indication that the bears are present and the bears are likely to push this market down. Looking at Bitcoin, it is very strong on the weekly time frame, so you cannot necessarily use a lower time frame as a strong confirmation for reversals, right? So we'll particularly be very confident in Bitcoin if we're trying to look at its outlook from the weekly time frame to tell if it's going to reverse or not, right? So for now, I'm just going to give you guys a clear perspective. Looking at the fact that we are watching this market on the weekly time frame, I'll be interested to see how Bitcoin works around these 24,000 area to see if we're going to have any spot on reversal candle confirmation within the next 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. And then if we are confirmed enough or convinced enough that we've had enough rejection around 24,000, then that could be a key mark for us to decide that Bitcoin could necessarily topple down from that 24,000 area and then make a next wave of movement onto the downside. So was I convinced that Bitcoin was going to topple down when it hit the 24,000? Not just yet, because the confirmations around the 20,000 area wasn't strong enough, right? So if you could look at the 20,000 area, we hadn't necessarily even tapped into that area, but we can see some hanging man formation there, right? Right off that hanging man formation was a strong rally on the upside with a bullish candle with no breaks, no closure, straight into that 24,000 mark. So next off, like I said, we need to be patient as traders, watch the next couple of week closures to be convinced if we're going to have some bearish presence coming in to push this market down, right? So let's say all things being equal, 24,000 is the last mark for Bitcoin to rally up to, right? What could we look out for Bitcoin? What could be the next possible outlook for Bitcoin with respect to its next target? Look, plotting a Fibonacci right from the very bottom all the way to the very top, which is marking out that Fibonacci range, right? Looking at from the swing point, right? Swing lows of 4,000 all the way to the swing highs of 24,000. We can see that the 61.8 region aligns perfectly as that last stop of the market before that next wave of movement, which is the 12,000 area. So for anything at all, we could potentially expect Bitcoin to rally into the 50,000. We could expect Bitcoin to rally into the 50% retracement area, which would be around the 14,000 region, or possibly even break that 50,000 area, 14,000 region, and then head towards the next possible target, which is what, the 12,000 area. Why would I expect Bitcoin to run into the 12,000 area? Because it was potentially that last stop right before that upsurge, right? The market, you can see that we created some level of what resistance in that 12,000 area, resistance here, and eventually came back, pulled back, and then smashed through it, running straight into the 24,000. So for anything at all, with respect to putting Fibonacci on it and underlying it, we could potentially expect it to retrace back into the 12,000 area. So for most times, I like to talk about crowd psychology in the market, right? So everybody had their eyes on the 20,000 region in the market with respect to Bitcoin. Why? Because from 2017, when Bitcoin made its massive rally on the upside, the 20,000 area or 20,000 region was the last stop before it made that massive retracement on the downside. So a lot of investors, a lot of traders were also keeping their eyes on that 20,000 mark, expecting Bitcoin to be this last stop and then possibly reverse or make a massive pullback. But what do we see? Like I told you, crowd psychology would always take effect when a lot of big players know that a lot of retail investors are looking at that 20,000 mark, and then they are trying to always put in their shot to going hard on the market and pull Bitcoin onto the downside. They are going to literally smash through that mark and then take off a lot of stops on the upside and then rally onto the next possible level or psychological level that is suitable for a new order to coming in on the market. So traders, to put everything in summary, like I said, I've had my eyes on the 20,000 area for Bitcoin, but after smashing through 20,000, not holding there as a resistance, I had my next updated level for 24,000. But coming into 24,000 with a market closing with a strong bearish closure, I expect a new coming week to open with a bearish closure, which could necessarily even start trickling Bitcoin all the way down. Nonetheless, we could play around the 24,000 area for a couple of weeks, maybe throughout this Christmas season all the way to next week, and then we could see Bitcoin Bitcoin starting a downtrend early on in 2021. So for the most part, my bias in the coming couple of weeks for Bitcoin is a downtrend. I've already given you my target for it, which is the 60% retracement area, which falls around the 12,000 mark, or the 50% area, which falls around the 14,000 mark, before any next possible movement for Bitcoin that we can look out for again. Yeah guys, so I tried to make this video very short enough, so if you enjoyed this, you need to do your best to smash the like button. Also make sure to follow KOJOFOREX on all social media. Make sure to click in the link in the description to join the community. Like I said, these days I'm going to be doing more video analysis, explaining my bias for any of the currency pairs we trade, and then our outlook for the next possible wave of movement for each currency pair we analyze. So see you guys in the next video.